text tool is one of the more simpler options in Photoshop, the more simpler tools. If you forget which tool is what, if you click on it and hover over top of it, you'll see the name of it. So the text tool is this T here. And something you need to remember, it's very important, do not draw a text box. It really constrains what you can do with it. You click where you want it to go and you'll notice another text layer appears over here on the right. Type what you want it to say, and usually it will be very, very small. So I'm just going to zoom in here for a second so that I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to highlight here, and this submenu up here works like Word Perfect. So you just increase your text size here. You can also type numbers just like Word if you want them even bigger. This box here, you can choose the color. So you can drag the colors up and down to find the color that you want, or you can bring your mouse outside of the color option and choose a color from your picture with this little eyedropper tool. So I'm going to choose a yellow. I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to zoom out here. Now, if you clicked off of it and you want to go back in and change more of it, you need to click the T, get really close, and highlight it again. Now, we've got other options here, just like Word. We can center, we can write justify if you're writing sentences or paragraphs. Also, here is another submenu where you can find the bold, italic, strike through, etc. If you're writing paragraphs, you can change the distance between each line here. I'm just going to close those. This is your text warp tool. You can choose which style you like, and then these features down here allow you to alter it for what you want. So I'm just going to add my little banana here. Now, it's still a bit hard to see. I'd like to have an outline to the letters. So you can double click over here in this empty space. If you double click on the word, it thinks that you want to call the layer something else. So you need to double click in the empty space, and it brings up a layer style menu. Now, when this window pops up, I can't see what's behind it. So I'm going to click it and move it over here so I can see the changes. The outline is called stroke in Photoshop. So if you click stroke and double click on the word, it brings up a feature menu where you can change the size. Now you don't want to go too crazy. And there's all different types of options. Some other things you'll find in the layer style menu are bevel and emboss. This adds a more thick texture, a more 3D look. You can also click on bevel and emboss to change more options about it. The angle the features are coming in on. You can add a shadow. You know, we can make it more satin, etc. So there's lots of options in here. You should go through and check them all out. Now, the T text tool also has a submenu, the vertical type tool. Don't worry about the masks right now. We're going to do masks later. So we have horizontal type tool, which is what I use to type the banana, and then you can use the vertical type tool, and if I were to type banana, it would type it that way. Now let's say I wanted to have, you'll notice we have two different banana layers here. If I want to rotate, let's say I want my word banana to be written like that, but just at a more straight up and down. So there's a few different ways to rotate. The first way, you can turn on your show transform controls and move your mouse until it turns into this curve up by the corner. So I'm going to click it and I can move it like that. So that's one way. The other way is you can go edit, transform, and if you want it to go exactly 90 degrees, you can either go 90 degrees clockwise or 90 degrees counterclockwise. So I want to go counterclockwise. And I'm just going to move it, over here somewhere. Now if you want to change the size of your text, you can do it the first way I told you, which is here, or you can click on your Move tool and make sure your Show Transform controls are on, and you can do it manually. So you can drag it from the corners, you can make it bigger that way. Now, just like everything else, it will always look distorted until you're done and you hit enter, and then it will render itself. So when I'm resizing this, I don't need to hold shift and drag from the corner like I do if I'm using a regular picture, because there's no properties to remain constrained. So I'm going to hit enter because I'm finished. And you'll notice when you add things from the layer style menu, you'll see the effects, whatever you add pops up here. So that little feature allows you to copy and paste those effects onto other layers if you want them to have the exact same effects.